What's going on? Welcome aboard to episode 3 of the Road to 180 series. So we're really getting close, guys. We're on the edge. We're right about there. But I got a couple more episodes in me for the rest of this series. So today's episode, we got some meal preps, got some training, and I got some additional day in the life stuff I'll be showing you guys. So enjoy. Time to check the scale again. So let's see what we got. $183.2. It's a Sunday and I'll be sharing with you guys a double meal prep. The reason why I'm doing a double is because this week's gonna be extremely hectic, so I'm just gonna cook it all at once. All right, guys, this is what we're currently working with. Got the 3 pans on right now. Everything's about to go. Basically have my oven ready as well, preheated. And now we got the foods. So got the green beans, carrots, potatoes, kale, squash, broccoli. I'm using the PAM, which is basically 0-calorie oil, really good for cutting, which I already put. And then I have the food on digital scale, salmon, and the boneless, skinless chicken breast. So now it's time to put all the food and let's do it. All right, guys, so 30 minutes in. And check up on the fish very soon. What I basically like to do every half hour is take the fish out. I like to take the soy sauce, just put it back on the fish, poke a bit of holes through it and just take care of the fish. And for this, I'd like to just keep an eye out on it. Just play with it every couple minutes, flip it around. Potatoes, same thing. And then for the chicken, once it starts getting a lot softer, I already put my holes in it, but once it's soft, then it's when I start to basically just cut into small pieces, just chop it up. And once it's chopped up, I'm gonna leave it in here. It's gonna be easier to weigh it after. And then that's basically just the process, so stay tuned. All right, so this is the final result. Everything has been weighed on the digital scale, put in the glass Tupperwares. And this is the salmon along with the boneless, skinless chicken breast with my vegetables along with my potatoes, which you can see on the left side. So what I'm basically doing is I'm doing low carb at nighttime. And the reason why is because I'm not burning as many calories at night. So I just don't need to have that extra energy. I like to have, especially when I'm cutting, my carbs more for breakfast and for lunch. And then I start to lower them. They start to narrow down as supper time starts to creep up. So very simple, very basic. This is just personally what I'm doing and it's working like a charm. Now for upper body physique check. This is what the upper body is looking like during a calisthenics session. I'm personally very pleased with this. There's still a lot of work to do, still more fat to lose, but I'm looking wider, I'm looking thicker, feeling a lot better, I'm way faster, and I'm definitely really happy with the way it's coming along. So now for the chest and lats, you guys have been following my channel for a while. I've had a lot of asymmetries I've been trying to figure out. Been on my 6th coach, and I've been working with Kyle Wag for a while, and he's basically told me, like, look, one of the last resorts is basically take a sandbag, put it on your left oblique, and this has really been one of the main contributors. And one of the guys who really popularized this is Pat Davidson. For people who are very compressed on one side, take a heavy sandbag, put it on that one side, and it helps basically lengthen out the other side. So now when I bench, it's a lot less crooked, and I know it's only 245, but the way it feels when I unrack the bar and the way my body's aligned now, I know it's only up from here. So I'm gonna work back up to 275, I'm gonna get back to 315, but I'm gonna do it right this time. I'm gonna do it in a way where I'm not overly arched. So as you can see on this, I'm basically doing things to not trigger where I was at before. So if I want my rib cage to not flare excessively, I basically have to reach more in my training, as you can see from the text before. So I reach to the top, and I'm not going all the way right down right now, because my rib cage tends to flare a bit, so it tends to flare up a bit too much. So I basically just reach, and I just stop like an inch short of the chest. And it still feels really good, and the weights are gonna come. So I'm just showing you guys where I'm at right now on the journey, and it's only up from here. So then we moved on to the dumbbell bench. Once again, I'm applying the same principle. I'm reaching. This is paused reps, and I'm gonna get back to the weights I was at before, but once again, I'm doing it right way. And yeah, it's only like 95 pounds, but I'm gonna get back to the 105s, 110s on incline, and everything's gonna be good from there at a much lighter body weight as well. So did my sets of that, taking them to failure, the volume slightly lower, The reason why is because I'm cutting. I have a little bit less energy, so I'm not doing like 4 sets, doing like 2 to 3 sets. And honestly, most of these days I'm actually just doing 2 sets, but I'm going to failure. So I'm really trying to get the most out of these sets. Put this clip at like 2x speed, and I'm actually hitting pecs twice a week now. So I could show you guys another day. This is day 1. I can show you day 3. So now we're moving on to the lats. I'm in a very old school bodybuilding gym, if you will. So I have access to certain pieces that I haven't used much in the past. So for the lat portion of this workout, there's certain tweaks I'm gonna be making for the future. So there's certain modifications I have to make with my pullover, for example, for me to get more out of it for next time. But overall, it felt pretty good. But just the seat height, the elbow placement, I could put them a bit more forward. And the same thing can be said about this chest support row. It feels really good for my lats. Like, this is not a pure lat builder. You're still gonna feel your upper back, you're still gonna feel your rear delts to a certain extent, but the lats are still biased due to the adduction of the upper arms. So whenever you have the upper arm really close to your obliques, that's when it's gonna bias a bit more lats with a neutral grip, semi-supinated or the supinated. So this felt really good. It was like 3 plates. It's only my second time doing it, but the numbers are once again gonna come. And then I moved on from here. And if you guys didn't notice, I basically start off with the lower reaches on the decline. And the reason why is because that keeps my rib cage more under control. And then I go gradually onto more higher reaches as the session goes on, depending on which muscle I'm working. So I start off with the lower reach for the back, minus the pullover. That was just a warm up. And now I'm at like a 45-degree reach, and I go into something a bit higher after. So this was only like my 3rd time doing the lift. I know I posted on IG recently about the hammer pull down, but I did it a while back one time, and I did it in the clip I showed you guys on IG in my story. So it's like my 3rd time doing it, and I'm actually limited in my supination. I'm trying to correct that as well. So this doesn't feel as aligned as it could. So I would actually be better off doing this with a neutral grip. And if you guys saw the neutral grip right above my hand, it felt a bit uncomfortable to grab it there because it felt like my arm was too flexed. So I basically, I still did the sets anyways, didn't really feel that comfortable. But then I started looking at, for example, guys like Paul Carter, and I remember that he did these lifts with the angle 90 right there. So this feels much better. So in hindsight, I should start with this. Next time I'm gonna start with the half kneeling pull down with the angle 90. Feels much better for my lats. And coincidentally, this is another lift I got from Paul Carter. Always gotta give credit where it's due. It's the rack chin with the angle 90s. This really biases the lats, and I felt a great lat pump on this as well. So this is done in 2x speed as well. And I did slightly more lifts for my lats because I'm really trying to bring those up as well. And that's my chest and lats. And on the other day, I basically have my upper back and my hamstrings. So I'm hitting back twice a week as we speak. And that's pretty much it. Taking all these lifts to failure, or at least really close, and yeah. I'll be walking you guys through a lunch that I'm currently making, which is basically an egg, tofu / veggie mix. So let's get into it. Just put all the food on the digital scale, and now I'm basically cooking it. This could be good for the next 3 days. I don't like to have eggs longer than 3 days, but this is basically what it is. The eggs are actually gonna go bad relatively soon, so I wanna keep them relatively fresh. And this is the veggie mix that I'm gonna have right now. So it's gonna be really good. I haven't had tofu in a while. Keep in mind that for the oil, I start using less. I'm using more palm now. This is basically 0-calorie olive oil. Sometimes I'll have toast in the morning, and I basically just started having PB&Me, which is basically like low-calorie peanut butter. As you can see right here. So these are just some small tweaks to start adding in to get more out of less calories. Alright, so this is the final dish. So I basically got the scrambled eggs with the tofu mix, got the diced tomatoes, carrots, broccoli, and I even put in a little bit of garlic along with the low-calorie olive oil. So I'm gonna devour this meal. It's gonna be super good, very satiating. I'm gonna get my steps in for the day, and yeah, we're gonna keep the day going with some momentum. But I want you guys to know that there's certain people online who are documenting their fat loss journey, and they're leaving out certain things. Either they're not showing you or they're not telling you. But I'm here to tell you guys that this Wednesday that passed by, so 2 days ago, man, I was feeling like an absolute zombie. Cardio was still on point, sleep was still getting better. All the variables we're just on point. I'm just dialed in. You guys just saw on the scale, I'm 183 on the Friday midday. So things are clearly going in the right direction. I'm feeling really good right now. But the Wednesday that passed by, man, I was just extremely tired, feeling like an absolute zombie. And I want you guys to know that if you're on this cutting journey as well, especially as you have lower and lower amounts of fat to lose, it's normal every now and then that you're gonna feel it. But at the same time, what are you gonna do about it? You're just gonna relapse and, next day try to eat more food to get more energy. It's just, sometimes you just have to take it to the chin, and accept it. You're not gonna be feeling 100% every single day. So I just want you guys to know it's normal. It is what it is. But if it's a recurring thing, then that's another topic of discussion. But if we're talking about in a month span, if you have 2 days where you're feeling like, more tired than normal, it's not the end of the world in the grand scheme of things. It's not like you're cutting forever. Sooner or later, the cut's gonna be finished, and then you could eat at maintenance. And even if you have, for example, a bigger cutting goal like I personally had, you could take a maintenance phase even earlier, midway through, and then you could resume to the cut later on. So that's all I want you guys to know. So let's keep the day going. I'm gonna get my steps in right after this, and let's keep it up.
I had 5 years of chronic pain. I wore orthotics for 5 years. Now I'm in this. Every foot can change. So just a matter of foot, just like any other muscle. We make the assumption that okay, imagine you came to me with issue with your neck, and I just said, okay, here's the neck brace. I'll see you in a year. That's what we do with foot issues. We basically put people in a brace, and we say, all right, I'll see you next year when I adjust orthotics in a year from now. But we make the assumption that okay, if you came to me with a neck pain, I'm gonna give you neck exercises or neck mobility things. Why wouldn't I do the same thing for your foot? So these types of drills that we've worked on to get the foot moving, with this, there's a lot of load that has to work in the foot. So it's a matter of just use it or lose it. You'll get your feet working, and then they'll start responding.
All right, guys, that wraps it up. Episode 3, Road to 180. Let me know in the comment section below if your cut has personally been slowing down, if you're experiencing any types of stagnation, or if it's been really going well. Share it along with the rest of the community. We'd love to hear it. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next episode.